We live in a time of complete disconnect. With social media, likes, comments, and facades are our bread and butter. Because of reality TV and vlogs and tweets and status updates, we all seem to think that we know what each other are thinking, all the time. A close friend of mine told me just a few days ago, while one of our favorite YouTubers was being attacked on Twitter, that what we say in the comfort of our close friends and loved ones is a completely different thing from what we say to a public filled with people from different backgrounds, mindsets, and beliefs. And she's right. The question is, how should we as the public react when an influencer inevitably crosses that line? Cancel culture is a fun little buzzword to describe the recent rise in brutal moral attacks on celebrities.
Cancel culture.
Cancel culture world.
Cancel culture. Cancel culture movement.
Cancel culture.
Cancel culture is real.
Like many things, it started out with good points and intentions, but it seems to have spiraled out of control a little bit. People see something they disagree with, something that's offensive and maybe even prejudiced, but with society putting such a huge focus on the internet, it's a breeding ground for misunderstandings. My life is surrounded by social media. From YouTube to Instagram to TikTok, my family plays a balancing act trying to appeal to all sides. It seems like no matter what you do, there are people who will be upset by your actions, and they do not hesitate to tell you. People are not people on the internet. They're ruthless and often don't feel accountable for what they say. This, combined with the impossible standards created by online communities, creates a toxic environment for all people. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for social media. I'm not saying you need to delete your social media and only focus on in-person relationships, because that's just not possible in the modern world. Especially now during the COVID pandemic, we're leaning even harder on digital unity. What we need is to bring social media back to what it was meant to be. Social media was designed for us to connect with those that we're physically distant from, and that's an extremely valuable thing. This is about using our digital platforms for good. But there is more to this than just being a good digital citizen among those you know and love. This is a new age where anyone can blow up and go viral at any time. Millions of real people have their eyes on an elite, godlike group of people we call the influencers. Now, of course, that was an exaggeration, but let's be real. Millions of individuals with different backgrounds and different opinions and values all have their eyes on this group, and they expect them to fit a golden standard of excellence. This would all be fine and make sense to an extent, but the problem is that the standard is different for everyone. Influencers are being canceled on the daily. They're waking up to their names being dragged through the mud for things that never even happened. Some lose their jobs, some lose friends, and some even lose their lives. People who never chose to become popular may be verbally assaulted for things that they did or said 10 years ago. This is a toxic and impossible culture that leaves no room for personal betterment. People on the internet forget that there are real, feeling people seeing what others say about them, and that real people feel the consequences of cancel culture. It is far too easy for a controversy to go straight into the hands of the digital judge and jury and be guilty by accused. Many of you may be thinking, we have to right the wrongs of those of the platform, and we must condemn the wrongdoings and bigoted actions of people's past by calling it out. But there is another option. In a face-to-face interaction, you wouldn't yell out someone's faults for all to hear. You would simply remove yourself from the situation and not associate yourself with that person. If you don't like what someone has to say, then why give it power and influence by further spreading their message? People with toxic traits and intentions do not deserve a place on your mind or your social media timeline. Just unfollow.
As someone who has had a presence on social media for quite a while now, I have been the victim of tons of attacks and ruthless bullying in the comments. Either I act too old, or I'm being attacked for looking younger than I actually am. People have even tried to remove me from entire platforms for nothing more than a TikTok dance or a picture with my friend. Projects like Digital for Good are working to create digital justice and positivity. Nobody deserves to be attacked on social media, and a more positive outlook on what social media is for could change the world for millions of struggling people. Whether it's a million followers or just a couple close friends, digital positivity could save the mental health of so many people.
Digital positivity is a choice to only associate yourself with positive things on the internet and cut out those that are negative. This does not mean to fuel negativity by attacking it when most of the time they just want attention. Rather, let it die out naturally by moving on and just unfollowing.